All right. Good morning, everyone. So Sonia, welcome. Thanks for presenting this week. We all know you as our lead organizer or co-lead organizer, but today you are going to be talking about your company, Plot Duckies, and take it away.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm Sonia Doing. I am a published author, an award-winning creative writer, and then I'm also a CEO of my company, Plot Duckies, which helps writers write their creative stories. And that journey to get there was kind of natural because I am, besides being a writer, I'm an instructional designer and professional trainer. So getting involved and helping people write just came along. But then I also think sitting in a co-working space, Fat Pipe BBQ, around all these other entrepreneurs, I realized I wanted to have my own business. So that's how that all started. And then how I make money. As an author, I sell books and stories online on many different platforms. And then as Plot Duckies, we're an event business basically, and we have a flash fiction workshop, and we have the short storyathon, which flash fiction workshop is a one-day workshop. The short storyathon is a 3-day, come up with an idea Friday night. Saturday, you start writing, you edit, you review each other's work, you edit again, you hire a cover artist. Everything gets sent off to a professional editor, and then Sunday we spend the day publishing that to Amazon. And to tell you the truth, both those events were experiments. I had no idea if they'd work, but it turned out we've had many of our flash fiction authors publish their stories in national publications. Many of the short stories have made it into the Amazon hot reads for weeks after being published. So I'm really proud of the work that the writers have done at these events. And then most recently, Plot Duckies, because so we're helping people write. We're also helping a little bit with the publishing part. We wanted to help writers get these stories out to more readers. So we recently launched a short story subscription where for $1.99 a month, a subscriber gets a new short story in their inbox. And these are a variety of stories from a variety of authors. And then how have I changed since COVID? As an author, I put an ad out there because so many people are reading right now. I put a Facebook ad. I'm selling more books actually since COVID. Even though I don't have a lot of reviews. I only have like 35 reviews on my novel, but it's still selling pretty well. And then let's see. Also, something else I've changed is, well, last week when we couldn't finish our presentation last week, I went and had coffee with the ladies from Tidal Wave Books Revised, and we worked out a couple of ideas. So because I never had a chance to launch my paperback, because I was going to have a big party, but not anymore, or not for now anyway. So with Tidal Wave, if you buy my paperback through Tidal Wave, Gamble of the Gods, you'll get the ebook for free. And then when Tidal Wave has their anniversary this year, I will be there handing out the paperback versions for everyone who's bought them. So I'm excited about that. And then for Plot Duckies, not a lot has changed for events. We basically put our flash fiction virtually. And so we have one this Sunday. And then also the short story subscription, we've changed it up a little bit, where instead of, if you pay the full amount, which is $23 for the year, you will get a story every week instead of waiting a month. So that way you have more content in your inbox, something creative to read. We've increased the royalties to the authors, so they're getting paid more from this subscription. And then the other thing we've done is combine forces with Tidal Wave again. We're doing a flash fiction contest with Tidal Wave. We applied for the city of Albuquerque's video production funding in hopes that if those top authors who win the contest, we want to video them reading their stories. But if that doesn't happen, we're still doing the contest. And challenges. I think my only challenge is really as a business author is getting reviews for my stories. It's a chicken and the egg thing. In order to sell books, you have to have reviews. In order to have reviews, people have to read your story. So, that's always a challenge. Um, for Plot Duckies, the challenge is just getting more of the word out about the short story subscription. The sales are actually getting better. I think people are starting to see it. We do have some ads out there. And I think the only other challenge is a lot of creatives are having challenges right now, writing creatively or being creative because of all the stress. But I think personally, I've finally broken through that, and I'm writing creatively again, and that's me.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Does anyone have? Oh, that's right. It's time for Q&A. Do we have? I mean, are we going to do Q&A since we don't have a big audience or anything?
So let's see. So there's a couple different things we can do in this new world. So let's see. We can have folks. So there's a couple different options folks have. I believe you can, if you go to the bottom of your screen, I think you can raise your hand or something. The other
Okay.
thing that you can do is you can mention something in the chat that you'd like to speak. Just kind of a mention, as some folks may have seen in different other Zoom calls, and we're having our own technical challenges this morning. Sometimes folks will get in there and they'll say rude things, et cetera, et cetera. So we've tried to balance minimizing that with enabling people to get into the room. So that's
Okay.
one of the reasons why it's not a total free flow. So
Gotcha.
if any folks have questions, why don't maybe put it in the chat, or we can unmute you and raise your hand either virtually or on camera.
Paul has a
and we'll get you in
question,
there.
so I'm going to unmute Paul for his question.
Hello, Paul.
Hi, I'm unmuted. So, Rahm Emanuel, who worked in the Obama administration, said never waste a crisis. So right at the moment, a lot of people are under a lot of stress and they're responding to it differently. And the times that we're experiencing are not like anything else that anyone alive has experienced. So how's that influencing your creative impulse? I mean, do you feel the need to react directly to that, or to write, or to process your own feelings about it through creative writing? Tell us about that.
So that's an excellent question. I am not processing my feelings through creative writing. I feel like I'm processing my feelings through exercise. I am working out every morning and I'm going for a really long walk during the day to kind of wear myself out. I think creatively it has been hard to write. I actually had to focus on the technical pieces of my next novel. Like I focused on character development and outline, and then once I started doing that, it helped me connect to the creative piece of that. So I totally agree. It's been really hard to get back to the creativeness. But I think, and we all are going to deal with this stress differently, right? Like, okay, so yesterday I was also chowing down on a bunch of chocolate. So I think it's just however we find a way to deal with the stress.
All right, so poor man's Prozac for you then.
Yes.
Thank you, Paul. I'm going to unmute Charles so he can ask a question. Charles, it's not letting me. You want to unmute yourself? There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So my question, Sonia, it seems like there's a book called Sprint, and it's written by a guy named Jake Knapp, and the book is focused on meetings and running productive meetings. I really liked it when I had a large team, because what we were able to do, the concept of the book is that you essentially come up with an idea, and over a week's time you get to your end conclusion. You actually have a working prototype by that point. That kind of a format seems like it would be something really neat for Plot Duckies. Is that something that you do already? Because the idea is, day one you're brainstorming, day two you're working out challenges, something like that, and then by the day four you actually have, or I'm sorry, day four you actually have the idea and you're working on the prototype. day 5, you're putting it into testing. Is that something that might work well for Plot Duckies?
Maybe. Well, and it kind of sounds like that's what we do. So like our short story-a-thon, Saturday morning when everyone walks in and sits down, I immediately have them sprint write. For 5 minutes, they write as fast as they can. And so Saturday morning is just a fast forward writing morning, because we have to have that story finished and as finished as possible by around 3 or 4, so we can review each other's work. So it forces you to work fast, and so that is kind of the idea, to sprint forward. And it also keeps you, a lot of writers like to write and then go back and edit while they're writing, which totally defeats the purpose of finishing the story. If you finish writing it from beginning to end first and then go back and edit, you're more likely to finish the story at all. And then when you go back and edit, you can fix all those things that you felt were wrong. So it is kind of the same thing.
Very cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question for Sonia?
I see Miriam said good morning. Morning, Miriam.
Oh, Adam has a question.
Okay.
So Sonia, do you have, I guess we should do the usual introduction. This is Adam Brechtel with Sparks Flow. Do you have you have this series going out of the short stories, which I know someone who might be in that list.
Oh, so, yeah, that's right. You're in there.
Is that, how's that going? Has that been published? Is there a lot of takers?
It's, so the subscription is live. Someone buys it on Gumroad through our web. If they go to plotduckies.com, there's a link. They go to Gumroad, they purchase it, and then I have everything set up in MailChimp. It's automated, and they just start getting the next email when it's time, and it's got all the, you know, the different versions that they might want of the story. So, and sales are going pretty good. So yeah, it's live and it's working.
Awesome.
All right. And Miriam asks, do you have any experience with Amazon publishing nonfiction? And the answer is yes. I have one. I don't have it with, oh, I do have it with me. I have a nonfiction that I've written that you can't see because it matches my background. It's the 5-minute author, how to write a novel. And it's a nonfiction. So I've published one, and then I'm also working on a book on how to self-publish, and that's going to be a workbook that's coming out probably in a couple months.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know. So you mentioned some of this. I'm wondering, like, are you watching how like other authors are marketing themselves? Since your book tour is off at the moment, since writers' conferences don't exist, are there similar kinds of events that have popped up to replace those, or is everyone kind of in a holding pattern?
There are some events that are moving online, and I've attended some of those. There's also Mark Dawson, who is a author from the UK. He has a podcast that I've been listening to for a couple of years, but he also has this great course, and that's what I took to do my Facebook ad, because when you do an ad for a book, you have to be very specific about advertising and who you're advertising to, and he has this great system of advertising. So Mark Dawson is awesome for learning that stuff. Yeah, him and a couple other authors are online doing some instructional type things.
Awesome. That's cool. Yeah. Let's see. And I'm wondering, to the extent, I'm just looking at the chat window myself again. Yeah, if there's any, like, when you have a chance, like maybe when you're off, if you can add any particular like it would be great to get a link to your site. Perhaps someone who's read one of your books might be able to pop in and give it a review. Let's try and get those things in the chat so that way we can share it. And one of the other things that I think we'll try to do is we'll post this up on Facebook as well, and we can put some of those links in there too.
Cool. That sounds good. And Miriam, I did get your message from your client, and I let them know. Yeah, I let them know what they needed to know. Just FYI.
Wow. Let's see.
Charles wants to know if we're private on YouTube. I'm afraid I can't answer that question.
If we're on YouTube, I don't see it anywhere.
Private.
Oh.
Yeah, because I thought we were live on YouTube, so I'm just wondering if it's listed as private because I
I don't know.
can't find it.
Yeah, it said it was going, and then I think we may have gotten a countdown, but we never got actual connection there.
Huh.
So Sonia, we have one last question for you. Two last questions.
Anybody still?
What can this community do for you?
Moving forward with?
I would say any of you listening, if you've read Toy the Gods, please give me a review on Amazon. If you can't do it on Amazon because you have to have a certain amount of purchases, then please do it on Goodreads, because the more reviews I have, the more people will buy the book. And that's my ask. Thank you.
And Sonia, red or green?
Oh my gosh. So I am in love with Stripes Burritos red chili in their meat burrito is so good.
We tried their chicken sandwiches yesterday. They were amazing.
Oh
But you're
man.
setting her up on a.
Well, and I'll mention Paul has a testimonial in the chat. Apparently, let's see, his company, Equiseek, asked Sonia to write their company story on the Equiseek website, and they were very pleased.
Aw,
So,
thanks, Paul.
professional writing, novelist, event producer, how many other hyphens do you want to add?
Cool. Well, thank you all.
So we're going to, and apologies again for some of the growing pains we're having, but let's see. So we want to thank our sponsors. I'm trying to get back to our main slide here, but we've got the good folks at Fat Pipe. So Lisa, I know Stuart's on the road or in the room. We've got Lowe's and Lowe's intellectual property attorneys, great firm doing national work and probably beyond. But those also really pitched in on a lot of different activities. I know they're working with ABQID on some of their work with Hyperspace Challenge. So really good community partners, but also great intellectual property. Let's see. I'm trying to get back to my slide myself. Let's see. We got Miriam. I see Miriam. Exactly. So I'm going to raise my mug as well. I'll get it in the frame. I don't have half and half. I'm using milk, and I'm really upset by it. So I'm looking forward to when we all get back together. Let's see. Oh, now, so in addition to that, we would love to be having donuts and other baked goods from our good friends over at Noventum. We want to thank Sparks Flow, Adam and Sparks Flow. Jason Collin, I've got to check in on Instagram and Facebook. I haven't seen him in a little bit, but really thank him for all the work that he's been doing in support of 1 Million Cups. Charles has been carrying the torch over at TuneIn ABQ to produce the most recent videos that we've done with 1 Million Cups, and a great co-organizer and host. And lastly, we've got, let's see, did I get everyone?
I think we're missing Sparks Flow.
Let's see, I mentioned Adam with Sparks Flow. I feel like there's somebody missing. So if anyone can remind me what that is, please do.
Jason Collin Photography, Plot Duckies, TuneIn ABQ, Noventum, Loza and Loza, Sparks Flow, and More Than Organized.
So we've got them all. So thanks to all of those. We can't make this happen on a regular basis without that. let's see. I'll mention. So this is a program from the Kaufman Foundation. Kaufman, about close to 7 years ago, they started meeting with local businesses in Kansas City to get a sense. They were kind of shifting the way they did business. They've always supported entrepreneurship and education in the Kansas City area, and entrepreneurship in general throughout the United States. And they started focusing or refocusing on what was happening more local to them in the Kansas City area. And in order to do that, sort of kind of the typical sort of customer discovery, they started talking with local entrepreneurs. You know, how did you start your business? What were the challenges you faced? Why you? Why did you want to do this kind of thing? And that led to some ongoing conversations where they would invite them in on Wednesday morning. That's just in general the time that they had. They brought them over the Kaufman offices. They'd ask those questions for a couple of entrepreneurs. And what they found was that the entrepreneurs themselves wanted to come back. It's like, I really enjoyed this. I liked the opportunity to discuss what I'm doing with other folks. And as they started to bring in more and more business owners, more entrepreneurs, there started to be kind of that sort of little network community building, just really happened super organically. And once they recognized that this kind of thing was happening, it was, well, maybe we can do this in other locations around the country. So they scaled up that operation. Albuquerque's 1 Million Cups, our team in different forms, etc. 1 Million Cups in Albuquerque. We were the 50th city to join the 1 Million Cups Nation, 1MC Nation. And now there's somewhere in the mid 90s, sometimes I make up a number. So I'll say it's 92 now, but I could be wrong. So there's 90 plus cities around the country that are participating in 1 Million Cups as a way to bring different, entrepreneurs together and help build our community. And we want that to continue. We like to think of ourselves as sort of in a little way, like a welcome wagon. If you're interested in connecting with other entrepreneurs, but also some of the organizations and resources that help entrepreneurs, it's a good way to get connected. So, even in trying times, we know that that's still a need. So we wanted to keep the flag flying and make these kinds of things happen. Let's see, Sonia has stepped out of frame, and I was there she's back. I think, I'm not sure who worked with Leslie and Liberty. I saw part of the presentation, or I saw you a little bit last week, but I know we want to restart that.
That's right.
Who can introduce them?
I can introduce them. So I know one of my things is I wanted to introduce or bring back companies who've had to make some changes during COVID, but also I love Tidal Wave Books Revised. So Leslie and Libby, please introduce yourself and kick off your presentation.
Oh, and let's see. And so if you have,
how rude.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to jump in there. Do you have any, like a slide or anything that we want to show? Because we can do the slide. Okay. If not, what I can do also is I think we can, because right now we're going to see the other background. I can change the image so that we get a little bit more of we get to know you a little bit better.
Okay. Whatever you want. Okay. What do you mean change the image? Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. Hi, 1 Million Cups. Thank you for having us today. I am Leslie Gully. And I'm Liberty Goldstein, and we're co-owners of Tidal Wave Books Revised here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So just a little bit about our individual entrepreneur journeys. We have different stories. We're not related at all, so we come from different backgrounds too. My husband and I have a background in the restaurant business and have dabbled here and there in some just home-based businesses over the years. But what brought me to Tidal Wave Books, to being a small business owner, is it's not that I wanted to be a small business owner. That wasn't what I was striving to do. I actually worked at Tidal Wave because I loved books, and I wanted to just pick up some extra cash for our family. So I worked there for 6 years. And when the owner of Tidal Wave decided to retire from book selling, she offered me the opportunity to purchase Tidal Wave. So I called up Leslie and said, hey, want to buy a bookstore? Sounds like fun. But Leslie has a different story of her entrepreneur journey.
And I came into owning Tidal Wave with absolutely no business experience whatsoever, very little work experience actually. I worked for a few years here and there and then became a mom. And I had a daughter who had needed constant care. So I ended up having to stay home and be a stay-home mom. In the course of that, we decided to homeschool, which Tidal Wave Books was a big part of that. And when the time came that our kids, Libby is also a homeschool mom, when the time came that our kids were going to be graduating soon, we decided we needed to find something to put our hands to so we wouldn't go crazy. And so we bought a bookstore. And in the process of that, I realized about myself that I had no idea how to run a business, but I also knew that I had what it took to learn how to run a business. And luckily we were buying a bookstore, so we literally had what we needed to learn at our fingertips. And we were able to read a lot. And over the course of that, I read a couple of books that really put into perspective, put into words what we believe as business owners. And those were books by Simon Sinek, which are Leaders Eat Last and Start With Why. Both of those were about making community the biggest part of your business. And we really believe in having the community be with us. And that also influenced how we make money. And so how do we make money, Libby?
First and foremost, Tidal Wave makes money by selling books. And that's our favorite part of being small business owners, is the book selling part. That's why we're in it, and all of the, small business aspects of it we've learned along the way. And we have lots of mentors who have taught us everything that they know along the way. But our first and foremost hope and goal is to sell books. That starts with, for us, we're a used bookstore, all used. So it starts for us with acquiring our inventory. So we have a book trading and buying policy that we have put in place that we have revamped this year. And if anybody wants to take a look at that, they can just go to our website, tidalwavebooks.com, and take a look at our trading and buying policy. So we source our books from our community. Our customers and our wonderful community bring us books, and we take what we can use and resell, which we've honed that skill over the years of what we should and need to take and resell. And then we stock our shelves with books that hopefully look new and are nice and clean and tidy, and that's how we make our money. We sell books. We sell online over 6 platforms as third-party sellers on like Amazon and Abe Books and Valor and Textbook Rush and Alibris and lots of different online platforms where we sell. We also do sidelines and consignments. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. We, over the years, have really worked at honing what works for us, obviously. So we have learned that being a used bookstore, most of our customers really love things that are handmade and that are made locally. So we have really focused in on things that only apply to books. So we sell bookmarks and we sell tea, and our tea is made by a local tea maker, Vampire Tea Company, and we have book art in the store that people can come in and buy. And then something that actually isn't a way we make money at all is that we partnered with the CATS program through Animal Humane New Mexico, which we don't make a penny from that, but the mental benefit of that has been amazing. Watching people come in and get cats through that program is amazing, and in the long run it has ended up getting us more business because more people are coming in, so that's just a side benefit. But everything we have in the store has to do with books, and we thought cats were a perfect mix with that because cats and books belong together.
Perfect.
Anyway.
Wait.
Also, we do a lot of events. And so we do many off-site events, and we also do things in store, but we don't have a really big space. So we do most of our events off-site. And that's another thing that we have honed down over the years. We have a lot of things that we have tried. When we first bought the store, we took on everything that anybody offered us to do. Some of those things were really beneficial and some of them were not at all. So we have stuck with the things that have been mutually beneficial, and we love working with other businesses. If other people call us and say, hey, a bookstore would really be a benefit to our event, we're happy to go and be part of that and take some books along. But we do Antiquarian Book Fair every year, and we do Independent Bookseller Day, and we have a homeschool curriculum fair. We do Small Business Saturday. We have a ton of things that we do that bring in local authors and local artists. So throughout the year, those things are always listed on our website for people to come and take part in as well. And they're big money makers usually.
Yeah, so we've taken over the years. It's been 5 years since we bought the store, so that's it'll be our 5-year anniversary July 1st this year. Of course, all of those events have been put on hold, and as you heard from Sonia, she's going to be part of those events with us when we do get to open back up. And thank you, Clifton Chadwick. Happy anniversary. So thank you. So how we make money now in the time of COVID. Well, obviously our bookshop is closed. We have been deemed non-essential, which we very much disagree with. And we'll tell you why. We have strong opinions about this. It's not just because it's our bookstore and it's closed, but it's because we specialize in homeschooling curriculum, used homeschooling materials and used educational materials. That's, as Leslie was saying, how both of us came to even be involved with Tidal Wave in the first place was that we were both homeschooling moms and we needed a source for used materials. Educational materials can be very expensive. You might as well send your child to private school rather than buy new curriculum for home. So we sourced our curriculum from Tidal Wave for all of our years of homeschooling. And that's one of the reasons why we got involved with the bookstore. As a homeschool mom myself, I've seen the way Tidal Wave has served the community. Thank you. Okay, sorry. So we needed Tidal Wave, and the community still needs Tidal Wave. Homeschoolers in general do source their books, their used materials there. When you're homeschooling, we're speaking with experience, you're usually a one-income family, so you're on a budget. It's a sacrifice you make to do what you believe in, which is homeschooling. So when we finished our homeschooling journey, it ties back into stepping into a business that we could keep our toes in the homeschooling pool, so to speak, and stay involved in that community. That community has grown in the last couple of months exponentially. So how we're making money at the moment is we're selling a ton of educational supplies, educational books, homeschooling books online mostly. So like I said, through all the different venues where we sell the platforms online that we sell on, but also we're still answering the phone. We have our phones forwarded to our cell phones. We're answering all of our emails. We're personal shopping for people and shipping it to them. No customers are allowed in the store. We're closed to the public. We have no foot traffic at the moment. So all of our sales at the moment come from online orders, email orders, phone orders that we ship out. And it's all contactless. We're taking Square payments or PayPal payments for those orders. We're also partnering in having to look for other ways in which to create more revenue. We're partnering with some other businesses. Do you want to talk about those?
Sure. First of all, on our website, tidalwavebooks.com, which is TITLE wavebooks.com. We have links to all the places that we are partnering with, and those are bookshop.org, which is a new organization put out by the American Booksellers Association. They sell new books and they give a percentage to local bookstores. So whatever local bookstores in your community, you can choose that bookstore to get the funding from the percentage of sales of that. We've also partnered with Libro FM, which is an audiobook source online. And they also give a percentage of sales to local bookstores. So you can buy audiobooks through your local bookstore. Excuse me. And then we have gift cards available through squareup.com. So you can go to any of those websites separately, look us up if you want to support us or any bookstore in your community. And then but on our website, we have links to each of those things. So you can go order from bookshop.org, you can sign up with Libro FM, or you can buy a gift card from us, which will help us tremendously.
Right. And the gift card thing is probably the most beneficial at the moment because that's going to bring us some revenue today. You'll be able to use that gift card later or gift it to someone. They're e-gift cards, so they're digital. The Libro and the bookshop things, they pay out every quarter or every 6 months. So that's not something that helps us today, but it definitely helps small businesses in the long run stay in business. It gives them some revenue over the course of time. So let's see, what are we doing in the age of COVID? We're continuing to plan for our future events. Like I mentioned, our anniversary is coming up, and we usually have a big, huge bash. We'll reschedule that as soon as we're able to open and get that word out for that. Another thing we do is twice a year we do a homeschool curriculum fair in our parking lot. So families can come, homeschoolers can come and sell their curriculum. We pitch big canopies in the parking lot, and they come, and it's like a
Flea market.
Like a flea market, yeah. And so it's a curriculum fair. We have all of our curriculum for sale. And it's also how we source a lot of our curriculum. So that was supposed to be the end of April. Of course, that's been put off. We'll continue to plan for that as soon as we're able to open. And so we're telling everybody, hang on to your curriculum. We're still going to have a curriculum fair. And anything else, Independent Bookstore Day was postponed. We'll have an event for that as soon as we open back up. Oh my gosh, J.R.R. Tolkien Reading Day was postponed. And we have a big box of merch for that. We're so excited. We have little pins that say Gandalf for president, and we're so excited to give those out. As soon as we can open back up, we'll get with all of that stuff. Let's see, our challenges. I think we just talked about a lot of our challenges.
I think our challenges before COVID started were that a lot of our population here is illiterate. So we have a 46% illiteracy rate in the state of New Mexico, which makes it really hard to sell books, in all honesty. So we have been really trying to work with literacy programs here in the state, giving percentages of our sales. We allow people to give their trade credit to literacy programs, to YDI, to Christian Children's Home, but Reading Works is one of those that we work with to try to raise literacy, because that can only benefit our business. That's not the reason we do it, but that definitely helps booksellers for people to want to read. And so working to make us a more literate state is one of the challenges that we want to take on. And also we are outgrowing our space. We're at that point in our business where we definitely need to grow and expand, but we're not sure that we have what it takes financially to do that. So we need to get to a point where we can get a bigger space for not a whole lot more money for the time being until we can get established there. So those are our biggest challenges. Mm-hmm. Without COVID being involved.
Right. And Tidal Wave, I mentioned that we bought it 5 years ago, but Tidal Wave's been in business for 25 years. We just celebrated our 25-year anniversary as a shop, and the shop has moved 3 times during that time. So it's hard to want to move again. We do hope to move one more time into a permanent spot because we are outgrowing our space. But after, in the times that we're living in now, of course, our biggest challenge right now is, I mean, everything that we were dealing with before is still a challenge, but put on the back burner, because right now we're just dealing with making sure that we're getting resources in the hands of everybody who needs it. We've been in the bookshop cleaning, and so our vehicles are out there, and we have customers who pull up who aren't supposed to be there because we're closed. They pull up and they call us on the phone and say, we know you're in there. I have $30. Can you just pick out these books for me? I need math books. I need language books or something. And so people are not allowing us to stay closed in a way. So that the need for materials is kind of desperate at the moment. So our biggest challenge right now is making sure that we abide by the government kind of sanction on small businesses at the moment, where we're supposed to be closed, but also the need in our community, still meeting those needs. So
Okay.
that's our biggest challenge at the moment.
All right. Well, and so we do have some questions here for you.
Okay.
So Clifton wants to know, on Twitter, there's @TidalWaveABQ or @TidalWaveBooks. Which is your Twitter handle?
At Tidal Wave ABQ should be
Okay.
the right one. So we share a name with another Tidal Wave Books
In Alaska.
in Alaska. So
Gotcha.
yeah. So let me look it up real quick and make sure that I've got it.
Okay. So @Tidal_Wave_ABQ.
That
That
should
makes
be
sense.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, because we added ABQ to everything to keep us separate. Oh, funny story. We when we began taking online orders, we had a slew of orders, email orders that were like, I have $100, make grab bags for my kids. I'll come by curbside and pick them up. And they all meant to be talking to the Tidal Wave in Alaska. So we spent days making grab bags and
But only
filling
for
orders.
a few people.
Oh.
We caught on pretty quick.
Are you in Alaska? Okay, because you were not doing curbside for Alaska.
So people were driving
So
up.
someone is asking, have you been doing drive-up orders?
We are not currently, because we are completely shut down now. But in the beginning, we were doing curbside orders. People were just calling us and we were picking out the things they needed and they could come by and pick them up. Now we are still happily taking email orders and social media orders and shipping them out, but we are not able to do curbside at the moment.
Okay, gotcha. Now, Paul asks, I've seen posts from parents who are not really homeschoolers, but have been forced into it because schools are closed. They're not happy with the curriculum that's being offered by the public schools. Do you have a couple of book suggestions for parents in this position?
Wow. Homeschooling is a vast thing. So there are a lot of resources, not necessarily books, that we could offer up. I can't think of the website at the moment. That took me off guard. You know what I'm talking about. The website, homeschool or Legal Defense Association, homeschool, hslda.org. And they have a slew of information for homeschoolers and what is legal and what is not. And HSLDA is what it is, HSLDA.
Okay.
And it is, they have all the information on the legality of homeschooling, on what to do which right now nobody's getting busted for homeschooling, obviously, but they also have links to curriculum, different ways you can homeschool, there are hundreds of different ways to homeschool. So I would suggest going there first and foremost.
Okay.
I would suggest, so Leslie and I haven't been traditional homeschoolers because for us, school was our life, homeschooling was our lifestyle. So I know that everybody is kind of emergency schooling right now. So I would say, if you're a homeschooler, it's one thing. If you're just homeschooling temporarily and your child's going to go back to school, I'd say this: don't sweat it. They're going to go back to school. Don't freak out about it. they're going to continue learning. Figure out what they're interested in and study that. Study that. There are so many library resources right now and so many museums have opened up virtual tours for free. There's so many online resources right now. It's basically just pouring into your lap at the moment, all the opportunities. Let your kids guide their own learning. Whatever they're interested in, let them dive into that. Now's the time to, if you're emergency homeschooling, I mean, if you're regular homeschooling, life hasn't changed. You're just still doing the same old thing you were always doing.
You just can't go out for nature walks.
Yeah. But if you're COVID schooling, let your child's curiosity be the guide of what you guys are doing and don't stress it. Really, it's going to be okay. And my personal advice is read real books together. Read aloud with your kids.
And we are happy to help you with that.
Yes.
And then if you decide you want to keep homeschooling, we're happy to have you come in and talk to us and glean whatever you can from us about homeschooling your family after this is all over.
Cool.
And real quick, our Twitter handle is @WaveABQ.
Oh, @WaveABQ. So it's not even Tidal Wave ABQ.
No, it's @W because so many different tidal waves have created Twitters over the over the years. So
All right.
It's @WaveABQ and it has our yellow logo with the tidal wave.
Got it. @WaveABQ.
Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right. So the next question, Eric wants to know, he's interested in knowing more about your poetry open mics on Instagram. Are you going to have another one coming up?
That was so fun. I had tried to participate in some local author readings from other bookstores, and they were having the same problem we were having with connection. I think the platform's just overwhelmed at the moment. Everybody's on. So I think it'll get better. That was our first time trying that. And we had a lot of fun. We actually had 5 people who successfully read. Probably had 10 people who couldn't really get a good picture but had full sound. So it looked like people were enjoying it. The people who did get reception at least.
We normally have open mic on the first Tuesday of every month. So we will definitely be doing that still. And we've thought about the idea of doing another virtual one if we can get it to work. So hopefully this ban will be lifted by our next open mic and it won't be an issue, but it's possible we might try to do it virtually again, but we always have it the first Tuesday of every month.
Okay.
Welcome to come join us for that.
Yeah.
All right.
After
hours. What can we as a community do for you?
Buy gift cards.
Yeah.
And do they just go onto your website to find those?
They can.
Yeah. There's a link on our website, and the gift cards are e-gift cards through Square. So you can either keep it for yourself or email it as a gift to somebody else. So yeah, there's a link for that on Square. Any way that you help us is great. If you buy through bookshop.org, through us, or through Libro FM.
Okay, you had one ask. That was your one ask.
Sorry, buy gift cards. Hey, we have a lot of things you can do.
On the website. And what's the website again?
TidalWaveBooks.com.
TidalWaveBooks.com. Awesome. And red or green?
Okay, for me, it depends. It's red for beef and green for chicken.
Okay.
And I am indecisive, so I generally order Christmas.
Awesome. One of these days I will try Christmas. I haven't done it.
Awesome.
Okay.
It's awesome.
All right. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Eric, I think it's your turn now.
It's back to me. Let's see. So we should be back to kind of the grid view. Is that what most people are seeing? You have an opportunity to kind of change that up if you like, but we'll try. Thumbs, lots and lots of thumbs. It's great to see so many faces, and again, we'll we'll be working a little bit more on our technical challenges. But one of the things, an announcement that came out just a few days ago that we shared on the organizing team was that Sandia Labs announced that some of its intellectual property was going to be available for entrepreneurs, technologists, and innovators from the United States who were developing technologies that are related, I think, to the COVID-19 response. You can hear that I'm stumbling through it. So we invited a guest from Sandia to join us to talk a little bit about how their licensing is working. We've got Jessica Youngworth on, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. We've got her on the line. I'm going to unmute you in a second. And what I'm going to do also is I will share some slides that they all shared with me. So just a second for those slides. All right. Well, maybe more than a second. I don't know why that's taking a second or two longer than I'd like.
Uh-oh. Well, in just a moment, I'll be leaving. So it was nice to see everybody. I've got another Zoom meeting coming up.
Oh, that's cool. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your presentation.
By the way, that is a picture of Machu Picchu. That's up to the Sun Gate.
Oh, I see what's going on. I've got
Figure it out.
Yeah, so I've got some privacy settings that's maybe in Microsoft that are causing a bit of a challenge. Just a second, let me try one more time. Okay, here we go.
Awesome, it's working. We can see a screen.
I like that. Now, if I can get to the actual, there we are. Okay, so
Perfect.
Jessica, we've got the main slide for licensing and technology transfer that is up. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've got going on? And I'm not sure, someone may need to unmute her if she's still muted.
Who are we looking for?
Jessica?
Jessica.
Can you hear me? Oh, I'm unmuted.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, great. Eric, thanks so much for the invite and for having us this morning. My counterpart, Ryan Kennedy, was on the call, but had to drop off for another obligation before his next meeting. So I'll do my best. I'm a technical business development specialist at Sandia. Ryan is a person actually in charge of our licensing. And so, I'll walk you through what I know. So Sandia launched this brand new effort very quickly here in the last 2 weeks in response to COVID-19. And many other companies are kind of taking the lead on making their intellectual property portfolios, all of the patents, copyrighted material in their possession that they would normally license out for fees, available to individuals who want to continue business, to develop their business, to invest in new technologies during the crisis. So that there's a number of initiatives like this that have kind of cropped up in just a short amount of time. Sandia is the first national lab in the DOE to do something like this. And effectively what we've done is made 2/3 of the portfolios. Sandia has a patent portfolio of about 1,400 to 1,600 patents. And so we've got over 1,000 of those available for free to US entities. These are individuals or companies that want to take a license until the end of 2020 and see if they can incorporate the innovation protected by that patent or copyright. Well, patent currently, we're working to add copyrights and try to incorporate that into their business in some way, shape, or form. Let's see, the reason or rationale, What you're seeing on the slide there, on our first slide, is a overview of the program. This is basically what you'd find on our website. Gives you a little background as to why Sandia would do something like this. Eric, if you wouldn't mind
Sure.
advancing to the slide that says key features. So I summarized a bit of this, but you can actually preview the license agreement. This is just in the interest of expediting this process. So normally a license agreement is negotiated on a case-by-case basis with a company or a university and individual. And that there's a lot of back and forth in that. It can take up to 2 months maybe to set up the conference call, get acquainted with each other's business needs and business model. Our licensing executives do some vetting because we're a national laboratory, and need to do diligence to make sure companies are in good standing. All those details. This is an expedited way for us to set up that partnership and grant the license. And so there's still due diligence occurring, but because we've constrained so many features of the license, we can get this done in a couple days versus a month or two. And in the interest of the national emergency, that time is of the essence in our eyes. Businesses don't have unlimited resources right now, and the more they can invest in their own company, the better off we'll all be. So that's sort of the guiding spirit behind the effort. If you advance the slide to 3, and again, all of this is on our website. Basically, if a company wanted to participate, they visit ip.sandia.gov. That's where all of our IP is listed. And you can search technologies in this. This is like a portfolio. It's a designated set of about 1,086 patents. So go ahead and search your keywords. If you're a cybersecurity business, if you're somebody who does imaging and radar, maybe you're in aerospace engineering, you name it. There's a lot of highly technical, cutting edge innovations that can be browsed. So I would recommend searching that collection and then just contact us. It's sort of how somebody might get the ball rolling. On the next slide, just kind of the action items. We're hopeful that this will open the door to startups, especially tech startups, manufacturers, consultants in areas of emergency response, but also it's not just limited to COVID-19 or bioscience or biotechnology. These are really a huge swath of technologies, ranging from sensors to GPS arrays, antennas, you name it. Sandia's probably got something, especially in the security, defense, aerospace areas. So hopefully this will open the doors to people and who are able and willing to innovate during this time, and lead to some new beneficial partnerships.
Well, that is great. So I really appreciate you sharing. We will put this also kind of in Facebook and some of our other channels. Let me go ahead and stop the share. It's time. Boy, I think we may have missed the very beginning. I think we started about a minute or so late, but we want to respect your time. We want to thank everyone for joining us here today. We didn't cover announcements, but I'll mention that Adam's been doing a weekly gathering of entrepreneurs with let's see, connect with other entrepreneurs and plan pivoting with Sparksflow this Friday at 10 a.m. Zoom link is available at sparksflow.com or on Facebook. And thanks again to everyone for showing up today. We hope to see you next week, and that we hope you'll spread the word. Thanks to everyone.